Hello and welcome to BISP Solution. And today's webinar is about Fusion Financial Implementation, in which we will do accounting payables, transactional process with use cases of BISP Group. Let's move to the today's agenda. The agenda of today's webinar is creation of debit memo invoice, creation of credit memo invoice, and use case based on withholding tax setup and process. So debit memo invoice, a negative invoice amount invoice created by business user and sent to a supplier to notify the supplier of credit you are recording. So as per business requirement, the material purchased from vendor has a rate difference as per terms of supply. So we raise a debit memo of $150, that is negative, right? So negative $150, we raise the debit memo. Similarly, in the credit memo, it's a credit memo invoice. So negative, again the negative amount invoice created by supplier and sent to you to notify you for a credit, right? So as per business requirement, vendor has forgotten to give a discount of $50 on material purchase, hence the vendor has provided credit note for the same. The copy of credit note is provided by the vendor or the supplier. So credit memo, out here you can see the Dell computer has provided the credit memo. So if you see out here, so the invoice reference they have given, the reference invoice, that is Dell 10050 dated 1st of August of value, invoice value of $35,000, which the payment terms is 210 net 30, right? So that is the payment terms. The reference has given, the credit memo number is 301, and this is provided by Dell Inc. and customer, for him we are the customer, so BISP Solution Inc. Miami, they are provided. The discount on the computer item, they have description they are given, that is -50. So to record that same in the application, we will see in today's webinar. So let's navigate to the application. Before navigation, let us move to the what is debit memo process. Basically, if you see the process, the supplier, we select the supplier and supplier site, legal entity, which is in invoice page, invoice header, and provide the debit note number or credit note number and provide the amount in negative value. Then we will select the type as debit memo or credit memo, as case may be, and select the payment terms as immediate, which is very important. The payment term should be immediate, right? So then select the correct unmatched invoices in create invoice page in invoice line. So search your invoice by invoice or invoice date, provide the correction type and line amount with negative and apply. Save the work and validate the invoice. So let us navigate in the application to see how the things are performed. So let us move. So here we are. We will log in with the credential of KC Brown. So we are logging with the KC Brown user. From navigator, we will navigate to invoice workbench. And the payables, invoices. So let us see the invoice which we have created on 1st August. So you can see the invoice number this is Dell 10050. So this invoice, against this the credit note has been provided. So as per the use case, we will create one first debit note of $150. Right, so let us done the same. From here to the task panel, we will create invoice. The task name is create invoice, and we will select so our business unit is BISP Solutions Miami, and we will select the supplier as Dell Inc. And the debit memo we will provide DN1005, and that if I try to provide the positive name by selecting the type as debit memo, you can see error out here. See. Just hold on. Minus negative $150 we have to put, and the payment terms is immediate, right? And out here we will go in line and select the correct unmatched invoice, right? So if we'll use the PO, then it will be a matching invoice. And let us start with the invoice as Dell 100. What is the invoice number they have said? That is 10050, right? So that is the number. Search with that. Here we are, the invoice and the correct amount. I will put out here the correction type is amount correction, and I will put it out here as $150 as per our use case, and apply the same and say OK. Right, so if you go to distribution and combination, so you can see the negative invoice has been applied. 7 close, and save the invoice. It is not validated, so you can see the validation has been not done. Let us validate the same and validate that. So it reduces the balance of the liability which you had to pay, right? So it reduces the balance. So this is the account, the liability account, right? So it's a negative balance, right? And save and close. Similarly, we can create a credit memo. This is the way we can create the debit memo, and similarly we can create a credit memo, right? So let us quickly create the credit memo. So as per the credit memo provided by the supplier, right? So that is the credit memo 301, and we have to record that, and we will provide this debit memo to the supplier to record the record the amount, right? So that is we provide the debit memo by business user. Now we will create the credit memo. So let us take as Dell INC. And the credit note is credit memo as 301, right? So 301, and out here I will provide the amount, that is -50 minus 50, and I will select out here is credit memo, right? So that is we will select and put the description out here, the discount on computer item, and the payment term should be immediate. You should select the immediate, right? So let us, and in the lines again we will select the unmatched invoice, right? So we will select the unmatched invoice, and out here start with Dell 10050. That is the invoice which he has mentioned out here. So if you go scroll down, this is the invoice number, right? And search with that. Here we are. So amount, you can see we have already applied a $150, so it get reduced by that. So we will correct the same again and provide the minus as a 50, right? So minus 50, and apply the credit amount, say OK, applied, and say OK. So in both the cases you can see the negative value we will put, right? So in the line as well as in the header we will provide the negative value. So negative amount we will provide, and save the same, and we will validate the invoice, right? So we will validate the invoice. So let's validate the same. If you go to the manage installments, you can see the amount, right? So that is it is showing the amount, right? So save and close. If I go to manage invoices, so you can see I will select with the party Dell INC. So you can see the invoice out here, and prepayment invoice, prepayment we have already applied $20,000 and partially paid, right? So we had paid in that previous session we have created a prepayment invoice and applied same to the invoice. That's why it is showing the 20,000 out here. 15,000 we have provided and 20,000 is remain unamount. So let's open the invoice out here, edit the same, and if you go to the manage installments, so net amount you can see out here, right? So net amount we have to pay, and we have already provided the debit memo, credit memo. While making the payment, we will select the debit and credit memo while making the payment. So let us make the payment of this invoice. Pay in full. Let us navigate to the payments workbench. Let's hold on. Navigate to the payments. In the payables, payment. From the task panel, create payments. Supplier is Dell Inc. Select your disbursement bank. This is my disbursement bank, and the payment process profile. This is my profile, right? So let's select the invoice we want to pay. So you can see out here that this is the invoice, this is the debit memo, and this is the credit memo. Apply and OK. So you can see the payment of negative value. So net payment is this much you will do, right? So the earlier payment we are doing, so payment term condition is 210/30. So 400 discount we are getting, and that this is the debit memo and credit memo. Let's make the payment of this particular invoice. So save and close. By this way, you can make the payment of an invoice, right? Sorry. Now, what is the next topic in today's webinar? Withholding tax. Withholding tax, that is so we will define the material purchased from unregistered vendor or supplier should automatically create withholding tax of 7.5 at the time of invoice creation. That is the business requirement, right? So while purchasing material from unregistered vendor or supplier, the system should automatically create the withholding tax invoice, right? So with a 7.5% percentage at the time of invoice creation. The condition is at the time of invoice creation. So the business scenario is that creating a standard invoice with a 10,000, the system will create a withholding tax of $750, and payment to unregistered supplier or vendor will be as $9,250. That is 10,000 minus $750. The payment to the tax authority will be $750, right? So we will see that in the application, how the things are configured in the application. So let us navigate. The first task what we had to do. So these are the withholding tax setup. In the supplier level task, we will create a tax authority as a supplier, or you can say a supplier as a tax authority. So, and then we will create a manage tax report withholding tax option, and then manage tax codes and the manage withholding tax classification. And that classification or group, you can say, will be assigned to the withholding to the unregistered supplier or vendor, right? So that is the we are going to do, and after that assigning that particular vendor with that particular group at the site level also we will enable that. And then we will create a one invoice with the unregistered supplier or vendor and see the tax calculation with that as per use case, right? So let us navigate to the application to perform the task. So first step is to create a supplier as a tax authority, right? So let us go to the procurement and go to the suppliers. From task panel, we will create supplier. So let us select as withholding tax NY, withholding tax NY tax authority, right? So that is the authority. We will select as a spend authorized and tax organization as government agency, and the tax country we will select as United States, right? So we are doing the United States out here. So select that United States and create. Out here we will select the supplier type as tax authority, then only we will able to use this supplier as a tax authority, right? So we will select the same out here, and in the income tax site we will reporting as tax authority, and in the address we'll provide the address. So address I will say NY hash US, right? So country I will select as United States, US, select the same. I will provide the address as withholding tax New York tax authority, right? So I just putting that particular line. So building 22 NY state, right? So let us give the postal code out here. Here we are, New York. Select the same, and this is not a mandatory field, you can provide or not, but we will only do the remit to, right? So there is no ordering of that, there is no supply, but we just remit to, right? So we will select that remit to and save and close, right? So we will save and close and submit that. It will go for an approval. So this is the internal profile. It will go for an approval. Let us log in with that particular user, right? So if you see out here, just hold on, refresh the page. So it is pending for approval, right? So you can see the view column. So let us navigate to the user who will approve the same. So let us log in. I am logging with the Kelvin Roth. Provide the password. User credentials I am providing. We can see the notification out here. So we'll log in with the Kelvin Roth. So here we are. We will approve the same. It has been approved. Now we will navigate to the refresh. Now we will search with that. There we are. Withholding tax. Select the same. The supplier number is 476, right? So that is the supplier number. Edit the same. Just hold on. Should get updated. Still showing the approval. Just re-navigate. Go to the supplier again. Supplier creation. From the task panel, manage suppliers. that is WHT. Search with that. Here we are, still showing the pending. Just hold on. Is not approved up till now. Just hold on. The application is running very slow. Approve. It's taking time. Yeah, now it has got approved. Just refresh the same. Yeah, it has got approved now. Let us navigate and search again. Yeah, so it has got approved. Now edit the same. Now we will provide the site, right? So that is the site. We will provide the site details of the tax authority. So add the same. Select the address. Select the primary pay. Save the same. So you can see that we are not sourcing or purchasing, so that is purchasing is not there, no receiving is there. Out here you can see the invoice which we are going to create, that will be in US dollars and payment will be in US dollars, right? So, and you can group that particular in pay group, say tax, you can search with that tax. If you want to create the tax or group by that, so you can create that withholding tax group. You can create the group as per, right? So I am not providing any group out here. So the payment term should be immediate, your say end of the month. I am selecting the end of the month, and the basis will be system date. There will be no discount, right? So, and if you go to the payments, the payment method it will require, so I am selecting the method, that is I am selecting the electronic, and go to the assignment level, right? So select the auto assignment out here and ship to bill to. We are not going to ship to bill to anything out here, and save and close. And submit the same. So we have created this authority, that is right. So we have created this authority. First we have created the authority. Just hold on. Now we will create tax related setups. So that is manage tax reporting and withholding tax option. So this, from setting and action, navigate to setup and maintenance. Select as manage tax reporting and with. So there it is. So manage tax reporting and withholding, and select your business unit. So I am selecting the same. So I have already configured the same on the basis of standard invoice. So you can, this is the business unit I have selected. Similarly, I have to select the event, right? So event you will select out here. If I go and add, so you can see the event class. So there are two event class, that is standard invoice or in prepayment invoice. If you want to include the prepayment invoice, on the basis of the prepayment, it will create invoice or tax invoice. So if I select the prepayment out here, the withholding tax, apply the withholding tax, enable that, process the tax, enable that, allow manual withholding, right? So if you want to allow manual withholding, then you will select that, and the calculation point and which point it should calculate. So as per the business requirement, it should be in invoice. Calculation should start in invoice, and tax creation point should also be at invoice, right? So that is the requirement, and the rounding level should be header, and I will provide the starting dates since I have already provided, and the tax determination date will be the accounting date. When you do the accounting, that date will be the tax determination. So I have already provided, so I will not provided anything out here. I will cancel the same. Let us so if you scroll above, the manage tax codes, right? So that is the next task we have to perform, manage tax codes. Out here you will create, select the business unit. This is my business unit, and the country, search with the country, say US, search with that, just hold on, US, search with that, say OK, and the tax regime, right? So I will create a tax regime. So let's create the tax regime, say NY underscore tax underscore WHT REGIME regime, right? So that is the tax code I am giving. Same I will provide out here and provide the starting date. Save and close. And the tax, right? So I will create a one tax. So tax will be with withholding at the rate 7.5% standard withholding 7.5%. Select the date, right, and provide the tax liability account. Let us provide the tax liability account. Search, and I will select that with holding search with that. Here we are, withholding tax payables. Select the same, say OK. And the authority, we have created one authority, that is this WHTNY, right? Select that and select the site. So this is the site, and save and close. And the tax code we had to provide. Then the status is standard rate. We will provide, select that. Tax status code is standard, right? So that is we are providing out here. And the tax rate, tax code WHT at the rate 7.5%, right? So that is the code we are giving. And out here I will provide the rate period, right? So select that, and the rate I am giving 7.5, and the effective start date as per business user you will provide. So the ledger and the other things populated as per we provided out here, right? So, and save and close. Just hold on. Withholding tax, New York. Just hold on. NY WHT at the rate 7.5%, right? Save and close. Right. So we are done with that. Now next is manage withholding tax classification, right? So we will manage withholding tax classification. So let us create a tax classification. Provide the tax classification New York withholding tax. I am giving it as a group or as a group, and provide the start date 01/01/51, and out here I will select in the direct tax rate rules. Select the business unit, that is BISP Solution Miami, and the tax code. Right, so this is the tax code I am selecting. This is standard 7.5 New York, right? And save and close. So this group we will provide out here. So New York withholding tax group, right? So done. Now let us navigate to the supplier, unregistered supplier, and provide that particular group. So let us, the task panel, manage supplier. I have already created a one supplier. So this is the Computer Advanced System proprietor Martin. So go to the profile, edit, go to income tax in the profile details. Enable the use withholding tax, right? Just enable that, and then navigate to the site, edit the same. Out here, just hold on. It should come. Just hold on. Save this. Just save and close. Just hold on. Save the same. You have enabled the same. Just let me check it again. Yeah, and New York withholding tax I will not provide out here. I will provide in the site level, right? So that is the requirement. Let me check it out why it is not showing off. So area is Los Angeles, right? So that's why it is not able to use that particular withholding tax. So let us create a one site for, just hold on. Address, I will provide the, not out here, I will provide a new address. So cancel the same, cancel. I have to provide the one address out here, that is New York address. So let us edit the same, create a one address out here. So address is NY-US, right? So that is Computer Advanced System NY. Postal code, I am selecting 1001. This is the New York we are saying, and this is not mandatory, ordering remit to, right? And save and close. Submit the same. So it went to the approval again. Let us re-navigate to that Kelvin Roth. We have already logged in with that. Let's refresh the page. It's not received yet. Just hold on. EPM work list. Let me navigate to that. Is pending for approval, right? So let me check it down. Approve. Just hold on. Ideally should come. Just hold on. Let me check it down with that. Refresh the page again. Manage suppliers. So I provided the income tax as withholding, right? And in the site level, edit the same. Add that. Yeah, I will select that and save the same. Go to invoicing, that will be in US dollars, and payment will be in the US dollars. I'm selecting the standard as the group, and payment terms I am selecting as 2/10/30, invoice date, discount. In the payments, go to the payments, I will select as electronic as the method, default method, check that. Go to the assignment, auto assign, so enable that. Select the withholding group. The group is NY New York group, and ship to BISP Solution, BISP Solution. Select that and save and close. So we are done with that, and submit the same. So advanced computer, advanced system, proprietor Martin, right? So yes, let us navigate to the payables invoice workbench. Let us collapse that. Invoice workbench. From the task panel, create invoice. Taking time. Just select the supplier, computer advanced system, proprietor Martin. CAS as per business use case 10,000, say computer, right? So select that, and out here provide the lines, distribution lines. So I am providing out here is 10,000, and distribution combination, select as computers, search with computer, so that is the computer supply. Say OK. Right, so save the same. Right, so let us refresh the tax. ideally it should calculate. Why it is not calculating? Let me check it down. Let's validate the same. It's validating. Ideally it should calculate, right? So why it is not calculating? Okay, why it is not calculating? Let's create one more invoice. Why it is not calculating? I just get to know. The supplier side, we have selected the wrong supplier side. Let us create one more invoice. That is computer advance, and select the supplier site. There are two sites, right? So we have to select that site. So let us select the site as New York. Since we have applied the withholding tax in New York site, so CAS, right? 10,000 US dollars, standard invoice, computer, and the line let's select the 10,000, and out here provide the distribution combination. Quickly provide that. Say OK. The system is save the same. Continue. So it is giving the warning since the amount is very same, 10,000. Right, so that's why it's giving the warning. Let us refresh out here. So you can see the $750 withholding tax has been created. So if you expand that tax details out here, withholding tax, go to the withholding tax. So you can see the New York, the invoice calculation point is at invoice as per the requirement, right? So, and we can validate the same. Yes, it gets validated. Now the requirement is that it should create automatic invoice, right? So let us navigate to that manage invoices. Just hold on. Search with invoice. Save. Search that. Just hold on. Should ideally create a withholding tax. It's taking time. That is WHT. Let me search again. Manage invoices. So let me search with that. New York. The supplier name is, party name as, start with delete and select as NY WHT NY. Right, search with that. It is taking time, bit of time. It should create, ideally it should create, right? So why it is not showing off? Let me duplicate that. I will search with the supplier. Search with the supplier number. Exactly, I will get the supplier number. Search with that. Procurement supplier. Manage suppliers. Search with that. So 1476, that is the number. Just hold on. Search with that. 1476. 1476. Search with that. Here we are. So the tax has been calculated. Right, so you can validate the edit that, validate that, and you can make the payment as per configurations, right? So the application is running very slow. You can validate that. So you can see the withholding tax, the vendor name has been given and the invoice number, right? So this is the system generated number, right? So we can validate. Just hold on, the validation has been done, right? So this is all about the withholding tax. That's it for today. Thanks for joining the webinar in AP related transaction process in Fusion application. Thank you for joining.